Hello, this is Michael Millard for Real-Time Animation Assignment 3, and this is the behind the scenes of my Unreal Engine 5 short movie. These first few animations were all designed in the Unreal Engine 5 sequencer with a control rig. So the first feature here is the cape that is using the UE5 Chaos cloth. I designed the cape myself in Blender and then attached it to the UE5 mannequin. And then upon opening the skeletal mesh in the UE5 editor, I painted on all the cloth weights, which enabled the cape to be modeled by the physics-based Chaos cloth framework. And some exaggerated look-around effects over here. It's really searching for where the apple came from. It's a nice aperture shift from back to front there. This shot here is a nice example of anticipation as he lowers his arm before throwing it up into the air. It's also a nice demonstration of easing in and out, because the trajectory of the apple when he releases it is based on a cubic interpolation between 3 frames, one at release, one at peak, and one when he catches it again on its way down. I used a cubic interpolation method such that as he releases, it's quick, but it slows towards its summit, and then once it peaks to its zero velocity, and then slowly eases its way back into speeding up towards his hand again. This shot here is quite nice because it shows a few things. So first of all, it shows the squash and stretch. In this jump animation I made, I squash the character as he squats down, elongate him as he jumps up, squash him again at the peak of his jump, elongate him on his way down, and then squash him as he lands. There's also a nice demonstration of follow through with the cape here. You can see he's already passed his peak, but the cape is following through. So yeah, there's squash and stretch, there's exaggeration, and there's anticipation from that initial squat down going on all in one frame. That wind up for the throw is also another form of anticipation. Another nice example of follow through, as the character did a dive roll, you can see the cape is still following through afterwards. And that's another nice example of the throw animation with the wind up, with the lifted leg. So in this scene, this is a side-on view of that jump that you saw earlier. The character's going to really squat down to create anticipation, but it's going to be exaggerated as well because of squash and stretch. It's going to be squashed down, elongated, squashed, elongated, and squashed again. That is the first example of my Niagara directional burst effect, which I just created particles of various sizes between small and big. I set them into a random color range between green and red, such that the splat would look like an apple. And there are 2 instances of this effect, but yeah, it was created with a Niagara system and a directional burst emitter moving away from a common point. I do believe I went with a cone shape in the end, with a pretty big inner and outer radius and a reasonable length. Some nice follow through with the cape on the backflip. And this is the big throw right here. This is the knockout throw. So for this throw, I really wanted to exaggerate it a lot. I gave him a really big wind up with a high knee lift, a big back tilt, and he's going to lean into the stroke quite a lot, the cape trailing behind again. And this is a nice squash and stretch slow-mo shot of the apple as it propagates through space towards the opponent. And there's the second example of the particle effect as the apple disintegrates as it hits his head. And he's got a very exaggerated knockout here. I really made sure to twist him and wobble his head as he fell. And this is just the closing shot. Thank you very much.